names are Puck, Roadblock, and Carver.
I'll What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Fernando the Plug, bringing you another build video for Title Update 10. Now, this build video is going to be based on hazard protection, how to use it, the prime points of having it for PvP and PvE going into the raid. Now, I know this is a little late. We've got one day before the raid is going to drop. So you should definitely be looking into a little bit of hazard protection as well as trying to keep that damage. I'm going to show you two different variations that I've made so far. They are not complete. I am still farming for those pieces, but I hope you like the video. So the first thing we're going to go over is going to be the directives. We got two new directives that came in. I don't usually play with all the directives, but a lot of people in my clan do. So the first one is going to be cool skills. This is not a new one. When one skill is activated, the other is put on cooldown. Next one's going to be the Fog of War. Minimap and directional threat indicators are removed, which means you cannot see where anyone is coming from. You definitely want to watch those spawn zones. And because these ads move faster than us, you definitely don't want them to get behind you, especially with a shield build, which is what I'm going to be showcasing today. Next is going to be hard to earn. This is one of the new ones. You start with no armor kits, only acquired by filling up your signature weapon ammo bar. That is the only way you will get med kits, which is not too bad, especially with a shield build. You can pretty much stack those up pretty quick. Then you got Pistolero. This is one of the new ones as well. You start with no ammo. Hostiles killed with a sidearm are the only ammo source you're going to have there, which is also great for a pistol build. You could run through. If you're a little bit lower on that Paragon, you should definitely use this build. Then you have the special ammo, which is going to be enemy bullets may be a special type. Depends on the faction. So if you don't know what the how to decipher who has special ammo, they're always going to have like a little light bulb highlighted over their head. It's going to be like black and white or silver and white, one of those colors. Those are the guys that are picking up special ammo. So when it comes to like outcasts, there are certain enemies who can drop boxes, which are going to help them to bleed you. That's usually what their type of ammo is going to be for the outcast. When it comes to True Sons, they have shock for the ammo. Then they also have disrupt and blast. These are just things that they can use with their gadgets that they have. Hyenas, they're going to hit you with confusion. They can also hit you with bleed if it comes out of gold with a turret, um, a sniper turret. What else are we missing? Cleaners are going to be fire. They're usually mostly fire, not too much else there. So we went, what's the Outcast, Black Tusk, Hyena. Oh, and then the True Sons. The True Sons are also going to hit you with a bleed effect, and they also have the foam as well as blast. So those are the things you're going to be looking out for when it comes to fighting those types of enemies. Now, going into the build, go ahead and turn around here. We're going to talk about the specialization. Now, I'm going to show a couple different variations of this, but usually, which is used pretty much situational. A lot of times I'll just put the concussion grenade on. Weapons I'm going to be using is assault rifle, pistol, and SMG. Now going into the build, we're just going to look at the stats for the hazard protection first. So with this build, I'm hitting around, I'm at 85.9% hazard protection. Now some of these are going to be just 10% more because I have the mods in. So like the bleed resistance, 95.9%. If I was fighting people in PvP, that would not touch me. When it comes to the PvE enemies, it will touch me because they don't have builds. It makes it very harder to learn how to counter them. A lot of times it's just better to hit them, well, not hit them, just have 100% hazard protection because they can still hit you with these different types of special ammo. It's usually like a split second at 85 to 95. It'll be nothing at 100. But those things can really mess you up, especially when it comes to like hyenas. If they're hitting you with confusion and they're hitting you constantly, that split 1 second can definitely mess you up because you lose control of your character. So let's just go ahead, jump straight back into this. We got the 95.9% bleed resistance, 85.9% blind death resistance, 95.9% burn resistance, which I have another 10% mod for that. 85.9% confusion resistance, 85.9% disruption resistance, 85.9% ensnare resistance, and 85. Oh, I'm sorry, I got two more. 85.9% poison resistance, and the last is going to be shock at 85.9% shock resistance. Now, like I was saying, for the PvE, because they have no builds, it's a little bit harder to counter. A lot of times it's better to just have 100%. But when it comes to PvP, the difference is, in general, just skill tier. If you're fighting somebody with 2, 3, 4 skill tier or even max skill tier, you could still be hit by their skills if you're running this low. 95%, I usually don't see it too much, but that's usually because they're either running a gun build with foam or something like that, or close to it. They might have like 1 or 2 yellows on their build. So right now, if I was to fight a full damage build and he has no yellows, and he was to shoot me with an ensnare or a foam grenade, a foam, well, we'll just say foam chem, that 85.9% will keep me out of it. If somebody shot me with like 3 skill tier, I'd be stuck for like maybe a split second. That's the difference there. So skill tier does matter, because if you look at it, as you go up in skill tier, let's just go ahead and go to the chem launcher itself. This is the riot foam. So as you go down, ensnare duration goes up, ensnare health goes up. So I'm not 100% sure if it's the ensnare health or how much status effect someone has on the build. When I tested this with one of my clan mates. His name is Skill Lord Chaos. Shout out to him. He uses nothing but skills. Nothing. He doesn't play any other way. Just skills straight. And he had a 6-tier skill build. I was running through everyone's skill variation of a build like this. Not this build specifically, because I wouldn't run this in the PvP yet. I made this one for PvE. But he definitely could not foam me without the skill. He went ahead and put on a damage build, which he doesn't use, just to foam me. He took all his skill tier off, and I was walking through everything. So definitely, if you have skill tier, you can stop those guys with around 70. 70, you probably stop them for like 2 seconds. 85 is probably going to be a split second, and higher. If you get 100%, of course, you're not stopping them at all. So that's just something to think about there. So this is the build that I'm using for PvE with all of the directives on right now. So I got the P416 G3. It's pretty much almost max roll. 15% assault rifle damage, 18.5% health damage, 6% damage to armor with strain. Next I have the SMG. It's going to be the CMMG Banshee. That's going to have 12% SMG damage, 18.5% critical hit chance, 6% damage to armor with the talent strain. And then next we have the Liberty, which is going to be the bread and butter of this build, only because of the talent. So this one's almost God rolled. We got 14% pistol damage, 10% damage to targets out of cover, and then the Liberty or Death talent. Hits grant plus 2% weapon damage, stacks up to 30 times, which is great. A lot of times I keep those stacks unless my shield's about to die, and then you come around with a headshot. It consumes all the stacks, repairing your shield for 3% per stack. Now you can definitely completely heal your shield on top of having the artificial hive. This one's only 22%. You can increase that with skill repair if you want to. That's up to you how you would want to do that though. And the shield I'm going to be using as well is going to be the bigger shield. So we got the bulwark, and health is going to be at 11,741,000. It's not bad. I would definitely like more blues on there, but I was not able to make it that way. So the overall build, the armor is going to be 1.4 million. We got the health at 330.1k, and then let's just jump into what type of armor pieces I have on. So first is going to be the Yao gear. I'm using the Yao gear because of the 10% hazard protection. I went ahead and I looked for this hazard protection. It didn't really drop that way, but 8.4 is not bad. So I went ahead and I rolled weapon damage because I was lacking that a little bit. You get the health damage for it being the Hollow Man Mask, 8.4% hazard protection, 12% critical hit damage mod that I put there. Usually I use this mask here. If I needed to, I could just swap it if I needed the extra armor. Then I'd still put the critical hit damage there. This one's almost god roll, that's why I really like this one. Next on the list, we're going to talk about the chest piece. And I do have a two-piece here. So with the Seska, I am getting critical hit chance and hazard protection. The way I rolled this one, I took that red off, I put the armor on. We got the attributes, 6.5% weapon handling, 7.5% hazard protection, and then we got the 10% burn resistance. And the talent I'm using is going to be Intimidate. Next on the list, we have, we're going to go over the backpack first, and I'll go over the gear set. So this is going to give me my second piece. We got 50% weapon damage here for the core roll. Then we got hazard protection, skill haste, which isn't too bad because I could use that towards my artificer hive if I have to use it for my teammates. Say he wants a little bit of damage on his skill or something like that, or just getting my stacks back when it comes to the using all of those directives, because like I said, once you pull out your shield, the cool skills is gonna put you on cooldown for your second skill. So this helps me get that back. And then we got that 10% bleed resistance with the talent Adrenaline Rush. This is not the max, so instead of 23% armor, I'm getting 20% for 5 seconds, and same amount of stacks. It's gonna be 3 times it stacks up, and then you got the 5-second cooldown. So this works really well because you're getting close to your enemies anyway when it comes to the shield builds. So you definitely shouldn't be afraid to run up, especially when you have your artificial hive. You can use this PvP and PvE. It's going to be a little bit harder for PvP. I would stick more around the lines to PvE with this one. That's usually all I use it for in here. But if you would like to go out to PvP, you definitely can do that. Now, when it comes to the gear sets, all I did here was I wrote hazard protection on all of those bottom pieces. I definitely would have liked the armor rolls to be max, but I could not get that. And using this gear set, I got the 2-piece, so I got the total armor and then a 3% armor regeneration. Now this works really well because when I'm behind my shield, I can regenerate, which means if I'm getting hit too hard or I need to move to another place, this armor regen has saved me a lot. Now this build is not unkillable. You can definitely go down. I have a couple times, especially when playing with all those directives on. A lot of times those enemies will flank me and they will kill me for it. I don't get pissed off about it. That's why you have a team that'll pick you up. But it's definitely not the perfect build in the world, but you can definitely use this to get past solo or with a team. And the hazard protection is great. I did go over that though, because like I said, the ads don't have builds, so it's almost, it doesn't matter how much hazard protection you have to have 100 to not be hit by their special skills. Now another one that I was working on that is not finished is going to be a hazard damage build. Now I used this one in PvP a couple times, using a firewall for this one for the armor break, putting people on fire, the grenade, still using assault rifle, SMG, and shotguns with this one. I do have the shield, but I have too many reds here. I'm trying to get 3 and 3 reds, 3 blues here. I want that 1.3 million armor, so that I'll be a little bit more tanky when it comes up to it, because the way that I'm playing this, it's also Intimidate and the not armor regeneration, but what is that? Adrenaline Rush, yes. Adrenaline Rush on the backpack. So going into this, I have the 2 Seska, which is here and on the knee pads. I'm going to say right away, I definitely don't want my Seska on the knee pads. I'd rather have it up here in one of these spots so that I can use that blue mod slot to increase my hazard protection. So when it comes to this one, this was a little bit less. I think it's at 79% total. Yeah, so 79% total. And then the bleed and the bleed is actually going to be the only one that's 89. Everything else is going to be 79 because I don't have that second blue mod slot. So with this one can jump through skills as well. The bleed, it tends to work really well because it's close to 90. So a lot of times I don't get hit by those bleeds. I can just walk straight through them if they drop a stinger. Like I said, when it comes to people at 6 tier, um, skill skill tier. When they're at 6 skill tier, it becomes a little bit harder. Those hits can actually bleed me. They can put me down a little bit. And if I'm running against a person who's just using a regular damage build, I can definitely get out of it. It's just going to be like well, most people, if they're running a straight damage build, they're not going to stop me at all. But those skill tiers, they're going to put me down for like a second or two. Now going into the build, I have the Seska Mask. It's going to be 15% weapon damage on the core. I wrote Hazard Protection, 12% critical hit damage, and then we got 10% burn resistance. Bleed resistance. I don't have burn. Bleed resistance. Sorry. Next, we're going to go over the chest piece. I am using a 2-piece here as well. I'm taking out weapon damage and that armor to damage. I said armor to damage. Damage to armor. Then we got the core attribute, 12.3% weapon damage. Headshot damage, 8.3%. 9% hazard protection, and 12% critical hit damage. Then we got intimidate, like I said before. This one I had to do a little bit different. I do want my mask to be up top for the Yao, but I couldn't find anything that would actually work right now for me the best way. So I did roll this. I did not find this. We got 123k armor on that. Wrote the hazard protection and 10.5% critical hit damage. Now I don't keep anything below 10% critical hit damage, just in case I haven't said that in other videos. Next we have the Seska knee pass, which is giving me the 2-piece for the hazard protection. 15% weapon damage, 11.1% critical hit damage, and 10% hazard protection. And then we got our gloves, the contractor gloves. I'm using that just to increase the damage to armor, since I'm a little lower on the critical hit damage. I'll show you guys that too. And then we got the hazard protection roll there with 12.9% weapon damage on the core attribute. And last is going to be the backpack, which I am still using. I haven't found one better than this one yet that I want to use going around. So like say this one here, I did find this one. I could put critical hit damage there, but then I lose a blue. And that's not ideal for me because I'm looking to be tankier. If I'm going to use this bag in particular, I'm going to build around this bag and make sure I can keep the red so that I can roll critical hit damage and then put that mod there as well. It's literally the same bag. The only difference is the core attribute. It's changed color. Alright. And I was said something about, what was that? Was it I hope I didn't forget anything. I could have swore I said I was going to say something about, yeah, the critical hit damage. So critical hit damage for this, the Lady Death, it's not that bad. I'm over that 50% critical hit chance. Like I'm at 107.6% critical hit damage, which is not bad because of the armor damage, and that helps out a lot. Plus on top of the stacks, sometimes I'll switch to this gun to finish. 102.6% critical hit damage. The critical hit chance is not as high, so a lot of times I just try to use this gun to finish people off because a lot of times I'm not gonna get a crit. And the pistol is not really used at all much, but I better go over that too. So the thing for the pistol is the headshot damage. So a lot of times if I'm going to use this pistol, I want to get 2 body shots, and then the last shot I'm just going to wait until I can get an open headshot. Usually it'll put you down when it comes to this one. Now, I did not show any footage for this one, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'll just show you a little bit of what this build can do. Another one right in front of me. Oh yeah? I got one behind me. I got 2 behind me. I'm dead already. I think. Yep. No, you get her. Got one.
Keep missing him though. Get him. Oh, man. We had this motherfucker.
Alright guys, and last for this video, we're going to wrap it up with showing you the easier way to get hazard protection if you're looking to use it for the raid. So I'm going to go back to my usual. I don't have all of the pieces, but usually it's going to be Eclipse. So for the Eclipse, you're basically just going to need hazard protection on 3 pieces. I don't have the gloves, but that's the ideal place to put those because you don't want to have to roll a core attribute or an attribute in general and then have to roll the mod slot. So the thing I don't like about Eclipse is the yellow mod slot that we're going to have here. So just setting it up, you can definitely do it this way. So you're going to want to have 2 Seska, and then you're going to want to have 1 Yao gear. Now you're going to lose the damage to armor, but that's not too much of a big deal. As long as you can't be stopped by skills, you can definitely do something else. Now, this is not an ideal build. This is just to show you that you can actually get there. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you this. I don't have all of the max rolls, but everything is at 100. Everything is at 100. You can literally go through anything with this build here, and you will not be touched by any of the hazard properties. So things you're going to be looking for is going to be the Eclipse. You want the holster, the knee pads, and the chin. On all of those, you want those. They don't even need to be maxed out really because of the chest and, well, this chest piece and the roll that I have there. Literally, you can get 60% just from having these 3 pieces if they're all hazard protection. Then all you need is the 2% here. Well, not 2%. You're going to need the 10% here, so you're going to want to use that 2 piece. Then you're going to want to have hazard protection on both of those. I have 10% here. So you got 60, 30 there, that's going to be 90, and then 100 using the out gear. Just the 1 is going to put you at 100%. That's if you're looking for an easier way to get to 100% without having to do too much work. This one still works good. You could definitely put some damage on there because, like I said, you don't necessarily need all of that hazard protection if you don't want it. 90, 95, 85 is definitely good, but if you just want something that's not going to be hit at all by hazard, you should definitely go this way. And that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys like. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Peace.